me just tell you who Kuiper has the Lions taking at 18. This is a really fun mock draft, I think. By the way, he's got Joey Porter going 17 to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think that's a lot of.
He always goes to Pittsburgh.
That's a name, cornerback, Penn State, that a lot of Lions fans would like to see. But he's got Christian Gonzalez, cornerback, Oregon, going at number 18 to the Lions. So Kuiper goes defense in the first round with those two picks. I think what a lot of Lions fans would like. Defensive end and defensive back. Remember when I mentioned earlier that the Lions have cornerback issues? Well, hopefully at least Lions fans were reading. Jeff Okudah flashed the talent to make him the 3 overall pick in 2020, but he still is inconsistent. There is no surefire starter on the other side of the field. Gonzalez was a lockdown defender at Colorado before transferring to Oregon last year, where he picked off 4 passes and improved every week. He's going to test really well at the Combine in March 2. This pick makes too much sense for Detroit's defense that badly needs an infusion of young talent in the secondary.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you're talking about a guy in Christian Gonzalez. You see what he did out in Colorado. Like, he was good in Colorado, then transfers, and he's better at Oregon. Like, having a guy like that, athletic ability, shut down cornerback, athleticism. You talking about a guy that can return punts as well. So, defense. Like, and that's where I'm at with it. You know, I love the offensive idea at 18, depending on how things work. Draft. You know, I think Brad Holmes, he showed us something last year where we don't know what's going to happen. Him moving up 20 picks to select Jameson Williams lets us know that, you know, it's in him to come up with something wild, something crazy, something that's up his sleeve that no one was saying. No one on the mock drafts had up their sleeve. No one had on their vision like, oh, this is something that we think could possibly happen. You saw a million mock drafts last year. Not one of them saw them trading up 20 picks to get Jameson Williams. So Brad Holmes, you never know. But defense, I just look at what the teams you're going to play this year. I look at the Lions early on in the year. The offense is great early on in the year. When everybody's healthy, the offense is great, right? 45 points. They're leading the league. They're averaging up to 42 points a game. Defense was horrible. Later on in the year, kind of mellowed out a little bit, kind of evened out a little bit. But you still were playing teams where they're not playing necessarily for the playoffs, or if they are, that's because their divisions suck. You know, they had a lot of injuries. You gotta shore it up with defensive players. You're playing with the big boys next year. You got to do big boy things. You can't be out there trying to hope that you'll get a stop on 3rd and 7 when you're playing against the Kansas City Chiefs or you're playing against the Vikings at home. You can't hope that you're going to have your secondary is going to be able to get better this year and be able to cover the likes of the receivers that you got coming in this upcoming year. It's going to be a big year for the Detroit Lions. I think you want to put as much as you can on the defensive side because that offense is going to be ready to roll again. So, got to go with DD.
I'll tell you, man, it's exciting for the first time since you're a Lions fan.
Yeah.
That you have a GM that looks like he knows what the hell he's doing with this draft. It's like his personal toy. And the Lions are not an afterthought anymore. They are going to be players. Like you said, Bray, He's got something up his sleeve. Don't you worry. He's going to get it right. He's going to figure out exactly what player to get at that time, when to move a pick if he needs to, when to get extra picks. I totally trust Brad Holmes and his regime here with the Lions. And I'm telling you, they will be the next, not the Cowboys, but the next America's
Cowboys
darling.
of the 90s.
The America's darling. I'm telling you, the Lions are going to be a lot of players and a lot of kids' favorite team here pretty soon.
Hey, let me ask you guys this question. Because I think, honestly, there's a 0.5%. I'm going to put it at 0.5% because I don't think there's a 100% of anything. 0.5% chance that Brad Holmes picks at 6 and 18. Don't you just feel like there's a move there?
Yes.
A move up or a move back? I just feel like there's a 0.5% chance he's picking at 6 and 18. It's just not his track record. It's just not what he does. He doesn't stand pat. He's aggressive in the draft. He identifies a player, and he gets that player.
You know how excited we get for the fantasy drafts? This is his. Except he gets to do it for real. Well, he can't wait till freaking April.
He picked Penei Sewell when Penei Sewell was at his spot. He picked Aiden Hutchinson when Aiden Hutchinson was at his spot. So, I mean, he had
moved up last year, too.
But he didn't move up on his first pick.
Well, first round.
Yeah, so that's why this is my thought, and this is what I've heard, and this is what I've looked at, and this is what we're grasping at straws here. This draft has good players in it. Like there's tons of really, really good players in college football nowadays. How many great players are there? I don't know. There's not that, exactly. It's not that many great players. So I don't think teams are going to be given what they want to have teams move up. I don't think teams are going to be offering the moon to try to slide up. Hey, I'm going to move up, a couple spots. This is what I'm offering. Nah, that's not enough. All right, well, that's all we got. I don't think guys are wanting to come up as much as we think they are. Just look at the draft. We're trying to ask if guys that are 5th and 6th and 7th are even like, what do you think about this guy? What do you think about this guy? I don't think that there's enough star power to make teams come up to the tune of what other teams are wanting.
What about 6 and 18 for 3?
But why are you moving up?
No, I don't want to do that.
Because I think Will Anderson Jr. can be your Micah Parsons.
So you're trying to hope for Will Anderson Jr. or Jalen Carter at 3?
Yeah. I if you watch the Cowboys play football, that defense is a wrecking crew because of one guy. That one guy sets the tone and makes everybody better. I believe there are 2 great players in this draft. One is Jalen Carter, the other is Will Anderson Jr. And if you can get that guy, if you can get your Micah Parsons finally, I think you try to go get that guy. That's how I would trade up. I would trade up to get one of these guys. And maybe if you're Arizona, you've got a new coach, a new general manager. Do you value getting a defensive end? Like maybe you can get a Tyree Wilson to replace J.J. Watt at defensive end and then come back and get your cornerback and improve your defense that way. Hell, maybe you can even draft Bijan Robinson so you can get the new general manager for the Arizona Cardinals might just want 2 picks instead of 1, and you're still going to get a really, really, really nice player in Tyree Wilson, Miles Murphy, or that mid-round pick. I think that much of Will Anderson Jr. and Jalen Carter. I'd do it.
I think a lot about Will Anderson Jr. as well. He's outside linebacker / rush in, if you will. You draft him. What are you going to do with Charles Harris? What are you going to do with James Houston? What are you going to do with those guys? Those guys play. They're rush. They're rushers. They're coming off the end. Those guys aren't playing first, second, and third down. Those guys aren't playing on short and go. You know what I'm saying? Like, you look at a guy like Miles Murphy. You look at a guy like Wilson. Those guys, they can play inside and outside. So you draft one of those guys, excuse me, you're getting the ability to draft both. You get Will Anderson. All right, now what are we going to do with the other guys that we have on the team? He's amazing, by the way. But I just what do we do with the other side of the ball? What do we do with the guys that are already there? We just
figure it out.
It's too much, Ryan. If you want to get rid of number 6 and maybe a pick next year, okay. But I'm not trading my 2 number 1s this year. I'll trade one. Maybe I'll trade my 1 next year.
Yeah.
Maybe. But I need something more than just to move up to get him. I got to get a little something more back.
I'll draft him if he's there. But I'm not moving up to get him. Like, I like Miles Murphy and Wilson enough. This is the type of draft it is. Like, you take the best guys that are available. What do you need? What guys are there? Well, it's a lot of defensive edge guys there, as well as guys that can play inside and outside. So I'm looking at what the team needs. I would love to have a guy like Wilson in there, Tyree Wilson, that can be in there every down. You're talking about a guy that can shore up this side. Oh, we can move him in, and we can bring in James Houston on third down. Now you got James Houston and Tyree Wilson in the game. Oh, by the way, you still got that monster 97 on the left side. So I don't like it enough to move up for Will Anderson, even though he's amazing because of the depth that they have. But I still think they need that interior. And if you're going to get one of those big boys, Miles Murphy or Tyree Wilson, that also play edge, they also come inside as well. So that's why I like that.
Is the best case scenario for the Detroit Lions that one of those 3 quarterbacks falls out of the top 5?
Yes.
Top 5? Because at that point, then you got some movement with Carolina. Right? I mean, at that point, then
or
you got
somebody else. How about the Saints?
Yeah, whoever.
Yeah.
I mean, the Saints don't have any draft. They don't have a first-round pick. That's Philadelphia's.
They'll have one.
So they don't have the. Philadelphia's got the 10th pick this year. I mean, they could win the Super Bowl and get a top 10 pick. I mean, what that general manager did in Philadelphia, I don't even know what his name is, but my goodness, That is incredible. I just think that if one of those three quarterbacks fell out of the top 5 and you could play a little bit, maybe you move back, maybe you move to 9 and again at 18. I don't know. I think there's nearly a 0% chance that both picks at 6 and 18 are going to get made there. He's going to make a deal either on one of those 2 picks.
I hope so.
Yeah, I think it'd be more fun.
For hope so. I hope so. This draft, like, people are talking about, Will Levis is just okay. Or, well, Bryce Young is too small. Well, C.J. Stroud, maybe he did prove it to me against Georgia. Like, nobody's just talking about, we got to get this guy. If I was hearing that from about 2 of these players, 2 of these quarterbacks, then I would have more hope or faith that that's what could happen at that position. But right now, guys are like, he's too skinny. He sucked in the SEC. He couldn't beat Michigan. Like, this is what I'm hearing, which is making me think Carolina Panthers or these teams that are 8, 9, 10, they're not moving up at the tune of the price that you might potentially want.